Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about attraction, we often think about looks, chemistry, or confidence. But real attraction, the kind that makes someone addicted to you, runs much deeper. It's not about pretending, performing, or playing games. It's about a woman embodying behaviors that make a man feel something profound, something he can't get anywhere else. These behaviors aren't manipulative, they're magnetic. They don't demand love, they inspire it. A man becomes truly addicted to a woman who offers him emotional safety with standards. That combination might sound simple, but it's one of the rarest things to find in relationships today. Emotional safety means he can exhale around you. He can stop pretending, stop performing, and just be himself. He doesn't feel like he's constantly being tested or walking on eggshells, fearing that one wrong move will make you pull away. When a man feels emotionally safe, he lets you into parts of him that no one else gets to see. His fears, his doubts, his hopes, his insecurities. But what makes that safety powerful is not just kindness or softness. It's the fact that it comes with standards, because emotional safety without standards becomes self-sacrifice. It turns love into a one-sided effort where one person gives endlessly and the other takes without consequence. When a woman knows how to balance both, she becomes unforgettable. She's the calm in his storm, but she's also the structure that challenges him to better. She's warm, but she doesn't allow disrespect. She's forgiving, but she doesn't forget her worth. That balance makes her magnetic. Emotional safety draws him in, but standards keep him invested. Men fall for women who make them feel at home, but they stay with women who make them want to evolve. When you show empathy and understanding, you're telling him, you can trust me. When you uphold your standards, you're showing him, but you can't take me for granted. Those two messages together are what make a man addicted. Not because you're manipulating him, but because you awaken both his peace and his passion. Think about what happens when someone feels safe emotionally. They stop wearing their armor. A man who might have been distant, defensive, or emotionally unavailable begins to open up. He starts sharing the things that scare him, the things that hurt him, the things he doesn't even tell his friends. That level of vulnerability is rare for men because most of them have been taught that emotions equal weakness. But when he meets a woman who creates that emotional safety, she becomes the exception. She's not trying to fix him. She's not judging him. And she's not making him feel small for being human. She just listens, understands, and connects. Yet she never loses sight of herself in the process. She doesn't confuse compassion with permission. She can love him deeply while still saying, this behavior isn't okay. That strength wrapped in warmth is what makes him respect her and crave her at the same time. When a woman has standards, it's not about being cold or distant. It's about clarity. Standards say, this is how I expect to be treated. This is what I will give, and this is what I will not tolerate. Those boundaries create emotional safety for both of you because they remove confusion. He knows where he stands. He knows what matters to you. And because you're consistent, he trusts your emotions. He doesn't have to guess what will upset you or trigger you because you've already communicated it through action, not anger. That predictability paired with your empathy creates a safe emotional environment where love can grow. When people say men are afraid of strong women, they're wrong. Men aren't afraid of strength. They're afraid of judgment. A strong woman with a kind heart isn't intimidating, she's irresistible because she's not trying to win approval or play games. She's just living from a place of self-respect. A man becomes addicted to that type of woman because she challenges the pattern he's used to. Maybe he's dated women who either tried to control him with emotion or disconnected completely. Maybe he's been with people who tolerated everything in fear of losing him. But when he meets someone who combines understanding with standards, she changes his blueprint for love. He doesn't just feel attraction, he feels grounded. He feels seen without being smothered. He feels inspired to give more because deep down, he knows she won't settle for less. That's the kind of emotional experience that doesn't fade. It stays with him even when she's not around. He starts thinking differently, acting differently, and even treating himself differently because her influence lingers. This is why emotional safety with standards is not about tactics or strategy. It's about inner alignment. You can't fake it. You can't pretend to be calm when you're anxious or confident, when you're scared of losing him. It comes from genuinely valuing yourself enough to know that love should never cost you your peace. When you reach that mindset, you don't need to raise your voice to prove your worth. You show it through your energy, your decisions, your silence. You no longer try to convince him to choose you. You allow your presence to remind him why he should. That's the power of emotional safety with standards. It turns relationships from emotional roller coasters into deep connections that last. And let's be honest, this isn't always easy. There will be moments when your emotions want to take over, when you want to chase, explain, or lower your boundaries just to keep the peace. But that's exactly when your standards matter most, because a man watches how you act when things get hard. Anyone can be graceful when everything is perfect, but your value shines when you handle disappointment with dignity, when you can express your feelings without attacking him, when you can walk away without bitterness, when you can hold space for love without losing yourself. That's what sets you apart. Emotional safety also means creating a space where communication feels like connection, not confrontation. It's being able to say, this bothered me, without it turning into blame. It's showing patience when he's trying to explain himself, and it's expecting the same in return. Men crave the kind of relationship because it allows them to grow. They don't have to hide behind ego or pride. They can relax, open up, and engage with honesty. And when they do, they bond on a deeper level than physical attraction ever could. At the same time, standards keep that connection alive. They create polarity. When he sees that your kindness doesn't mean compliance, that your empathy doesn't mean weakness, he starts to admire you. He feels both safe and challenged. He doesn't feel like he's in control. He feels like he's inspired to earn your trust and affection every day. That's not manipulation, that's mutual respect. It's love that breathes, not suffocates. In the end, a woman who offers emotional safety with standards becomes the emotional equivalent of gravity in his life. She grounds him, steadies him, and makes him feel understood. But she also reminds him that love is a privilege, not an entitlement. She doesn't threaten to leave. She simply lives in a way that makes staying feel like the only sane option. And that's the kind of woman a man never forgets. She doesn't demand addiction. She creates it naturally through her balance of softness and strength, of love and boundaries, of connection and self-respect. She becomes the calm he can't live without and the challenge he can't stop chasing. That is the true essence of emotional safety with standards. The quiet power that turns affection in devotion and attraction into something that lasts forever. Playfulness is one of the most underrated yet magnetic forces in attraction. It's the energy that turns ordinary interactions into unforgettable moments, that keeps a man emotionally